Welcome back. It's another episode of Wildlife Hotel.
And we haven't had our coffee yet.
That sounds like a you problem.
It's an all of us problem. Today, our adventure is trying some really nice products that are all aged in bourbon barrels.
So it's time for a little history, a little story, if you will.
It's normally
about
my
the
angle.
past.
Is that where the history comes from?
History comes from the past, yes.
Wow.
That's where it comes from. Julian Pappy Van Winkle originally founded Stitzel Weller Distillery on Derby Day in 1935, and it was run by his son until 1972, when he was forced to sell due to some financial troubles. You know, it happens.
It does. It was the early 70s.
But Pappy's son, he was a clever one, because you know what he did?
What'd you do?
He bought barrels back from the people that bought his company.
Wait, why would you do that?
To relabel them
What?
as Old Rip Van Winkle. But those, what?
Where'd they get that name?
I think it was Prohibition or something, dead label, something like that.
Something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
But due to the aging process and dedication to some seriously well-made bourbon, those barrels weren't sold for another 20 years because they had to age. You know,
That's
you
what you
age
do.
bourbon.
You gotta age things.
You gotta age things.
Like babies.
Since then,
Can't sell them until they're 20.
Old Rip Van Winkle and Pappy Van Winkle have been sold by great-grandfather, right? Great-grandfather, father, and son, or something like that. It's a family business.
Yeah. Three generations of people named
generations.
Julian.
I mean, if the name works, right?
They are a family-owned business, and they decided to only partner with family-owned businesses, small businesses, people who are passionate about making the best possible product. Julian's motto for his original distillery was, "We make fine bourbon at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always fine bourbon." All of the purveyors of these fine goods embody that spirit that Julian had in 1935. All of these products were made with or aged in the barrels that made Pappy Van Winkle a very rare, very famous bourbon from Buffalo Trace Distillery that you probably haven't had.
I haven't had it.
It's extremely rare. They make 83,000 bottles of this stuff every year, which I know sounds like a lot, but when you consider how many people want to get their hands on this, it is almost none.
I mean, if you consider how many Budweisers are sold every year,
millions upon millions.
that's not a very high number at all.
So 83,000 a year, and that's across their 10-year, their 20-year, their 23-year. Pappy Van Winkle and Old Rip Van Winkle are very hard to get your hands on. The cheapest you're gonna find this is $1,200 a bottle. So we thought a much more economical way to get some of that flavor would be from Pappy and Company, which was started by three sisters who are direct relatives of great-grandfather Julian Van Winkle, old Pappy himself. So what do you want to talk about first?
We always start our day off with coffee, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this coffee
Okay,
real
well,
quick.
who made this?
That coffee was made by You're scaring me a little bit. Good Folks Coffee Company.
Oh, man.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to read.
I mean, that's distracting stuff. It smells like fine tobacco and chocolate.
Small Kentucky coffee roaster. Started in 2010 in Louisville.
Family owned, hands-on. They believe in having relationships with their farmers, with their importers, their exporters, with their customers themselves, creating that handcrafted, hands-on, personal relationship business that Pappy has always tried to foster.
I mean, who needs air freshener when you've got that, right?
So they really did their coffee science. They didn't just throw some beans in a barrel. They picked the right beans. They roasted them the right way to properly accentuate and complement the bourbon flavors. And just hours after the bourbon was poured out of these barrels, these beans were put in there, and my goodness, you can smell the bourbon on it, but this isn't a flavor added coffee at a gas station.
No.
Like, these flavors really blend.
They complement.
They complement
very well.
and it just tastes like another note in the coffee. It doesn't taste like a flavored coffee at all. Really, really tasty stuff. We cannot wait to buy more of this. It's a little expensive. If you've got a coffee aficionado, maybe a bourbon aficionado in your life, this is a great gift.
Some of the best coffee I've ever had.
Yeah, it's terrific.
It's very
This
good.
is high quality coffee. What do we have next?
We also have hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Bourbon hot sauce?
Bourbon barrel aged hot sauce.
Oh yeah, that's good.
We had it on potatoes. We had it on eggs.
Who made this?
By Family Ghost Pepper Farmers.
Ghost Pepper Family Farmers.
By Family Ghost Pepper Farmers.
Yeah.
That's what your note says here. At Midland Ghost.
These people are actually farming the ghost peppers, creating the sauces, and they aren't just interested in a sauce that has a mule on it and an ass pun. They don't want just heat that is there to, you know, hurt your uncle that you don't like. This is good sauces to go with good food, and you can smell little notes of bourbon in here. It's definitely a vinegar forward sauce.
And might I just say, we are 2 for 2 on the hot sauce game on this channel.
A little bit of honey in there too.
Godzilla hot sauce was win.
Yeah, this one also
A
quite
win.
good.
And I can't
I wish I
say
had time to put this on right now.
I can't say either one of them are better than the other. They're different flavors. They're made for different foods. I wouldn't put this on nachos necessarily, but I would do Godzilla hot sauce on nachos.
So we've got our coffee,
Yeah, we've got our hot sauce.
we've got our hot sauce, and
What is this? Because this is all fancy.
hey, this is something extra special for our waffles and pancakes, for our cocktails, for anything that you can think of to put maple syrup in. Let us know your favorite off-label uses for maple syrup down below. This is 23-year Pappy Van Winkle barrel-aged maple syrup. Winner of the 2022 Good Food Award. This is...
So, sorry to interrupt. We've found some bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup at Costco.
Yeah.
So how is this different?
Yeah, we've definitely tried a couple of bourbon barrel-aged maple syrups. It sounded like a really good thing. Turns out this was the original one that started that recent craze. And while those were fine, this blew our minds. This is something that we were calling roommates down. I called my congressman about this. There was just a lot of excitement as soon as the bottle was open. It was a smell akin to magic.
I almost drank it straight from the bottle. I was like,
Yep, this
I
is what we do.
I was this close to taking a sip. Tantalizing.
It was
to say
amazing.
The least. We can't have any other maple syrup at this point.
Yeah, Bissell Farm made us some beautiful maple syrup. They threw it in those bourbon barrels. It's 2% alcohol by volume, but it's nothing.
It's good.
If you have a dad in your life, someone who's a pancake aficionado, a bourbon aficionado, this in this wonderful handmade wood box in the beautiful bottle, it makes a great present, and it's not just something that looks nice to unwrap. It's actually something delicious that they're really gonna love, and they're gonna be talking about it for years. Then they're gonna look up how much it was and be like, whoa, you know, that's the most expensive maple syrup I've ever had, but it fits nicely in the gift price range for someone special in your life.
And they may just hate you for the rest of their lives because now they can't have anything else.
Yeah, there is a normal version that we haven't tried that's not 23-year barrel aged. It's, I think, the 10-year barrel aged. It's not aged quite as long. That is, I think, $10, $12 cheaper, but this is so good. I will never probably buy another type of syrup. If you have a better syrup than this, please send us some. We will review it. I always want to try something better, but can we? Maybe we can. Maybe we found it. Maybe this is as good as it gets.
I think that's as good as it gets, unfortunately. What was that?
Oh, and my Pappy and Company camo beer koozie. Maybe you didn't see it.
I didn't see it at all. I didn't know it was a thing.
Camouflage. They
What are
included
beer
it with
koozies?
our... No one knows.
If you know what a beer koozie is, tell us down there. You know where it is.
They included it with our order for free because we bought so much stuff from them. And our last thing that we bought, Bourbon Balls?
It's time for dessert.
Yeah, it's time for dessert. So these were created by Sugar Mama's Bake Shop using 10-year Rip Van Winkle, old Rip Van Winkle.
Nice, nice, nice.
Ooh. How's that look to you?
It looks.
These have pecans on them.
Pecans?
Pecans. So where's my knife gun?
So what's a praline?
Where's my knife gun? Is it over there? All the way over there?
I think it's in here. It's all right. The knife gun is here.
Bam, bam, bam. Gun. Look at that.
What is it?
It's beautiful.
What's in there? Where'd the pecan go?
Well, here's a pecan. I'm gonna cut it in half. How about you try that half?
I'm scared.
Yeah. The sugar and the chocolate hit first, but they're afternoons. I feel like I just drank bourbon. Like my back of my throat, my tongue.
I'm still experiencing it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all bourbony.
Wow.
That's
Is there,
very good.
is there like an ingredients on here?
It's just sugar and chocolate and bourbon.
Let's see, we have...
It's all knife guns all the way down.
They just call them Bourbon Balls.
So you don't think those are the ingredients right there?
It's the literal ingredients. It's not like it's toffee or it's nougat. It's just the literal ingredients that are in it, so we don't know.
I mean, they're bourbon balls. You're not meant to know the ingredient list. You're meant to enjoy them.
Can we say we're a 4 for 4 here?
Yeah.
Are all of these just amazing?
I'm gonna say if I had to take just one, it would be the syrup. Second favorite's probably the coffee, as the coffee is extremely good. Hot sauce is maybe last, even though it's very good, and then the bourbon balls are third. The hot sauce and the bourbon balls and the coffee don't really command a luxury price. Like, this is the price of a normal bottle of hot sauce. For expensive chocolates, these are actually fairly cheap. The premium is paid on the
syrup.
On the syrup, really, only. Everything else, like the coffee, you know, I believe was about what you'd expect to pay for 12 or 16 ounces of premium coffee. There is a bit of a markup on the syrup, which does actually have some bourbon in it.
So for me, I'm slightly different on my rankings.
Okay.
The maple syrup and the coffee are actually tied.
I mean, they are both very good.
They're tied for me, and here's why. I drink coffee every day. I don't have maple syrup every day.
I mean, that's where we differ, I guess.
So, objectively, the experience with the maple syrup was better. I would just have this more often.
You know what they say, a shot of syrup a day causes your doctor dismay.
And then it's bourbon balls and hot sauce, because bourbon balls real good, hot sauce also real good, but there are so many hot sauces out there. It didn't seem better than any of the other hot sauces.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be...
It is a good hot sauce.
It's a good hot sauce, but nothing stands out about it that makes it spectacular among all the other hot sauces in the world.
Or in this group of 4 products, all 3 of these were attention grabbing in ways that the hot sauce wasn't, but it is a good hot sauce.
Exactly.
We hope that you have had a bourbon-soaked good time.
Scroll down, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Smash that like. What are we doing?
We're ringing that bell.
Oh, cool.
For Wildlife Hotel. Have a good night, everybody.
Is that like an Animal Crossing thing?
Sure.
It's the he loans you the bells.
Yeah, you take bells and
then
it really, Animal Crossing really prepares you for capitalism and predatory loans.